All right, again, now we're up to about 45 people. And I know we're gonna probably have a few more to trickle in. So again, I'm gonna allow about 3 more minutes for people to get logged in and get the audio and visual settings set up properly. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Now we have about 52 people who have joined us. So again, welcome to everybody. We are going to start tonight's training for the unit secretary. So again, this training is designed for the unit secretary. So if you are in any other officer role, you're more than welcome to attend tonight's training, but do understand that we will be covering the tasks that a unit secretary performs within the membership portal. Now, with that being said, in order to get your login credentials to the system, there are 2 requirements. The first requirement is that you attend a training session, and the second requirement is that there is an officer form on file. So at the end of tonight's training, I will add the link for you all to add your name, your contact information, and so forth as an attendee. And I will also provide the link to the officer update form in the event that the form has not been completed on your behalf by the previous secretary or previous president. So again, those 2 links will be added into the chat box at the end of tonight's training. Tonight I have Don Chambers from Field and Membership on as the co-host. A lot of you have probably been in communications with Don, Kevin A, or Christian. So Don is here, and we will go ahead and get started. Right now, I'm logged into the membership portal, as you see here on the screen. From left to right, what you'll notice at the top in the navigation menu is the home icon. So the home icon brings you to this location where we are now, where we see this unit secretary dashboard. This unit secretary dashboard is very helpful for a couple of different reasons. Because as the unit secretary, when you log into the membership portal, you do not have to go far to find really important information that tells you about your unit. What you'll notice is that it provides an active member gauge, an active member type, and count. Now, and then right below it, they have 3 more widgets that lets you know the members that are expiring over the next 30, 60, or 90 days. Now, the good part about this is, as you all are planning with the other officers, how you want to recruit members and how you want to retain memberships, then this view from the dashboard is going to be beneficial. You'll notice under each widget, you see the information where it says View Report. If you click on View Report, it's going to open a report. So basically, you saw initially that information says 0. So there isn't going to be any information on this particular report. However, when you're in the membership portal and you are logged in as the unit secretary, the information that is in the system for your unit will be displayed in that report. Now, you'll also notice that you have the option from the top right, there's a drop-down arrow. You can click Save or Save As, and that will allow you to actually save or export that particular report. Now, a lot of people like to download the reports, but I do have to warn you that the reports, as long as it's in the system, is up to date. So the moment that you download the report and you are working from a downloaded copy, you have to keep in mind that any memberships that come in through the web or additional memberships that you add to the membership portal will not be on that list that you've downloaded unless you download a new copy about every day or every couple of days. So just be mindful of that, because that is just a snapshot in that point of time if you do decide to download the report. All right, so now when I go back up to the top and I click on the navigation home icon, again, it's going to take me back to the dashboard. So from here, I'm going to look next from the navigation menu at members. So when I click on members, we will see the different members that we have. So let me just get a couple of examples for you all to see. So basically right now we see that we have about 13 members. So I'm going to scroll, look at the very last member. This member's name is Michael Jackson. So when I click on Michael Jackson's contact link, it's going to open up that individual's information. So the system is a little slow. So from here, what you'll notice is that you see the person's name, their unit, the account name, the type of membership that they have, the region number that they're affiliated with. Again, and then down below, any other contact information that that person has provided. So right now, the only thing that we have in there is an email address. So as the unit secretary, you have the ability to update the contact information. So if a person said, Secretary Garrett, I have a new mobile phone number that needs to be added to my information. When they provide you with that phone number, whatever additional information they provide, all you have to do when you find their record is to hover over that particular field. You'll notice that the pencil is now shaded. So I'm going to click on that pencil, and then I'm going to enter in their phone number that they provided to me. All right. Now, what you'll notice that all the fields that under contact information, I have the ability to make a change if I needed to. So you can change the phone number, email address, home address for that member. From there, the next thing that you would do in order for that information to save is to click the save button. All right, so you notice that the 3 dots in the center of the page are activated. So it may take a moment or two for it to actually save. So just give it time, because once again, you don't want to exit out of the page if you made updates to the contact information. So just allow it time to do what it needs to do, because you may be having an issue with your internet or anything like that. So let me see. All right, so this right here, this is another situation, because once again, I am using our test site. So for what, and in the background, I know some other things are kind of going on. So that has interfered with some other items that are not related to training. So don't let that throw you off. So, but once again, you have the ability as the unit secretary to make updates to the contact information. If we go to organization members can be churches, fraternities, sororities, clubs within the area of your unit. And I think that's just about it. So churches, fraternities, sororities, and other clubs, yes. So if they have decided to purchase an organization membership, then you will see those organization members listed in this section. So the same holds true. If information needs to be updated for that organization, you can make updates to the contact information. All right, next, if I click on batches, batches is where you will spend a good amount of time as you're creating and submitting memberships. So if there are new memberships or membership renewals, this is where you would go within the system to make those memberships. All right, so now what you'll notice is that we see a list of different memberships that are already in the system. You'll notice next to each one, it says select. So this first one, the status is pending approval. So if I click select, I can see the memberships that are in this particular batch. And I can tell the type of membership that they purchased. And I can see the start date for that particular membership. And I can see the name of the person, unit secretary, who created this membership within the batch. And also I can see the method that the person paid for their membership. Now, at the top, you notice that there's a batch name, and again, it's pending approval. So at this stage, the unit secretary has entered in the membership and has submitted this particular batch. So from here, the only thing that you can do with this type of batch is to just review it, because it's already been submitted. This is helpful in the event that you have submitted a batch and you want to go back later and just look at the memberships that was in a particular batch. This is how you do it. Now, you can go back to batches by clicking batches from the navigation menu, or you can click the button over here to the right that says return to batch list. All right, so now we're going to go through the process of creating a batch. First thing you would do is click the button to the right that says new batch. And it automatically assigns a number to the batch. Now you'll notice where it says create new membership. You cross from it, you have two options: new organization membership or new individual membership. So again, like I was saying before, your organization members are your clubs, sororities, fraternities, churches that have a membership. And then, of course, individual membership is just of one person who has a membership or purchasing a membership. So they both work in the same fashion. So for the purposes of training, I'm going to select new individual membership. Now, I want to do a membership renewal. So if I'm doing a membership renewal, that means that the person is already a member. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to check to make sure that I find them in the system. So I'm typing, let's say my person's name is Michael Jackson. That's who we just looked at when we went under members. So I typed in Michael from the search field. Whatever you type in that search field, the system goes behind the scenes and it searches the records to find that particular contact or any number of contacts that has that word in it or that phrase or set of numbers. So now this helps reduce errors because as a unit secretary, you want to make sure that you're not introducing a duplicate entry into the system. So you always want to just double check whenever a person says that they want to join your unit. And if they say, if you ask them, are you currently a member or are you a new member? If they say new member, then you still want to search in the system for that information, for their name. Also keep in mind that their name, they may have the name of somebody else in your unit. So you need to make sure that you're taking down all their information, their first name, middle name, last name, home address, email, phone numbers, all of that contact information that they will give you so that you can match it to see just in case there's another person in your unit with that same name, you will be able to distinguish between the two people. Because if you have a Michael Jackson that lives in Detroit, but then you also have a Michael Jackson who lives in Alabama, then you want to make sure that you're selecting the correct Michael Jackson. All right, so in this membership renewal, I'm gonna click select next to Michael Jackson because that's the member who wants to renew their membership. So I can see that Michael Jackson currently has a Bronze Life subscribing membership. I can see the start date and the expiration date for that membership. I can see how much Michael Jackson paid for the membership. All right, now, let's say that Michael Jackson decides that he wants a different type of membership. That, since he's already paid the Bronze Life subscribing, let's say that he wants to go up another level. You would simply click the button that says create new membership. From here, you're able to select the membership type that the person wants to purchase. So let's say now that they want to go to Silver Life subscriber. All right, so you'll notice that when I selected Silver Life subscribing, to the far right, the payment amount is automatically populated. The payment type, that is how did that person pay for this membership? Did they give your unit a check? Did they pay by credit card or cash? More than likely, it will be check or cash. So you will select the option, and you will also notice that the start date right now is set to today's date. Well, we already know that their Bronze Life subscribing doesn't end until August 18 of 2024. So you can select the calendar icon and go to the date that the person will have, where their membership will expire, like 1 day and 1 year after their membership, the previous membership expires. So Michael Jackson will start his Silver Life subscribing membership on August 19th of 2024. That's the day after their Bronze Life subscribing membership ends. All right, so then we click submit. So again, it takes the system some time to actually go through the process of saving, because and it really depends on your internet connection and so on. All right, so I got some sort of funky error. And I missed it. Hold on, let me do this again. And I think it's because again, this is our tested system. So I'm going to select let's see what happens this time. All right, so long, y'all, let me back and pick a different person. And I have to do that because, like I said before, this is our testing site. So I'm gonna pick Peter. So Peter, test member 1. So again, if Peter is just purchasing an additional annual adult membership, all I have to do is click select next to their name, sit next to that member type. Or if they're purchasing something different, I'm gonna select annual adult. And we're gonna get that error because once again, this is our training site. So with all that said, that is the process that you go through to add the memberships to the actual batch. Now, once you've added all of your memberships, whether that is for a membership renewal or if it is for a new membership, you can add up to 25 memberships in this batch. So again, you can add up to 25 memberships to this batch. Now, once you do that, you'll see all of the memberships listed under this section that says memberships and batch. The last thing that you would do after you verify that you've added everyone to the batch is you would click the button that says commit batch. All right, so now I'm gonna go back out because I want to find one. I'm gonna go to this one that says pending payment. So at this point, when it's in a status of pending payment, that means that that person, that member, that unit secretary has clicked the commit button, commit batch button, and it has sent the batch off. So once the system sends a batch, an email notification is sent to the unit president, the unit secretary, and the unit treasurer. Those are the 3 officer roles who will receive the email notification that says batch number 123, whatever that batch number is, has been submitted. So that lets those 3 individuals know that the batch has been submitted and it's ready to be paid for. At that point, the president or the treasurer of the unit can then log into the system with their login credentials and make a payment for the badge. So, like I said at the beginning of tonight's training, this training session is for the officer role of unit secretary. Thursday night's training session will be for the officer roles of president and treasurer. Because again, those are the two officer roles who can make payments. All right. So now, when I go back to badges, I'm going to click on this one that says draft as the status. So once again, as long as it is in draft status, you can add or remove memberships to the badge. All right. But if it's in any other status, you cannot add or remove memberships. The key is that if you go into a batch and you see the button that says commit batch, then you will know that you can still modify that particular batch number. All right. So now if I go back to list, once again, this is where you will see all of the batches with they're in draft mode, pending approval, or payment processing. So on Thursday night, for the president and treasurer, I will walk you through how to log into the system and how to make payments for a batch. So now one thing I will say, as it relates to the membership portal, although the notifications are automatic to let the officers know that a batch is ready to be processed, I highly recommend that you all work together and communicate with one another so that you are well aware when a batch needs to be paid. Because oftentimes the email notifications may go to your spam or junk folder. But as a unit secretary, if you've submitted a batch, I hope that you all have good communications, that you can text your president and treasurer and let them know that that batch has been submitted and it's ready to be paid for. I can't really stress that enough. The communication between the officers is really, really critical with this component, because you don't want to delay the processing of the memberships in a batch. All right. Now, let's see. Ladies and gentlemen, that's really it. We have covered everything. So now at this point, do not drop the call just yet, because I'm getting ready to put in the links to collect your information. And again, this won't take long at all. So just give me a moment. All right, in the chat, I just dropped the link to the attendee list. So if you would, at this time, go ahead and complete that. It may take you about 2, maybe 3 minutes. It's going to ask for your email address. So please make sure that you provide an email address that you and only you have access to, not an email address that you share with anyone. And then it's going to also ask you a question about if you currently have your login credentials. So basically it's a yes or no question. If you have previously been an officer, so you can make the indications on that list, because this is what the field and membership team uses to create your login credentials. And they have to be able to verify that you are a current officer. So as you all are finishing that up, I'm going to also get the link for the officer update form and put it in the chat as well. You can save the officer update form. You can open that link up and complete it later because there are a couple of items that you may need to get information from your officers as far as, I think there's like a unit number or state number that you need to include. So you may need to reach out to your state conference for a piece of information. But I want to make sure that you have that link in advance. All right, so I'll give a couple of more minutes for you all to complete that. All right, so now, after you have completed the attendee link and saved the officer update form, you're more than welcome to drop. But I don't want to end the session until everybody has completed at least the attendee link. And if you are dropping off, thank you for attending tonight's training. Please remind your presidents and treasurers that Thursday night will be dedicated to the role of the president and treasurer, for them to be able to log in and make payments for a batch or multiple batches. All right, Teddy, you have a question?
Yes. Will this recording be shared with us?
It's not recorded.
It's not recorded? Okay.
No.
Thank you.
Tamara Barnes, your question is?
Hi, I was wondering if you had any contact information or anything like that. My president isn't able to come for the upcoming training session.
What do you mean contact information for who would?
To possibly maybe get a step-by-step of how to use the membership portal before the next training session sometime this month.
Actually, this is the last week of this month. So
Okay.
I do not know when the next training sessions will be available. The link that you use to RSVP for tonight's training is a link that they would need to use for future trainings. That link is kept the same to avoid people losing it and you all being able to share it with others. All right. Our next question, HUNACP. Your question is?
Hi, I was just asking how soon after tonight's training will we have our credentials to be able to log in?
So a lot of times it's gonna take about a week, depending on what's going on with the membership service team, because that is the team who will be doing the verification, going through the verification of the attendees and creating the login credentials. So somebody asked for a contact. So I just put in the chat, membership services. If you have questions, you can always reach out to membership services at naacpnet.org. That email is in the chat. All right, Barbara, your question is?
Yes, I had a question about subscribing.
Can you speak up? You're too low.
I'm sorry, this is about as high as I can speak, but I was wondering about subscribing lifetime membership, especially when they indicate more than the $75 allotment. Because I'm having an issue with the subscriber lifetime membership. One person is paid, but now it's showing her inactive. And then another member has paid and their membership expires on January the 31st of this year. But when I go to in there, it says it takes us back to 2021.
Okay,
That's the start.
the email address that I put in the chat, that's who you need to contact and provide them with details of the members that you're having issues with so that they can investigate. All right, Madison, your question is?
I've been the secretary for a really long time, for like 2 years. So do I still have to fill out the new officer update form, or do I just save that?
No, if you're not a new, that is only for truly new officers who may have just recently taken their position within the last month since the last training. Nalani Whitaker, your question is?
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Where is the
Your audio is
now?
pretty bad. Try again.
Yeah.
You're
Can you
breaking
hear
up
me
really
now?
bad. Okay, let's try it. Let's see.
Okay, so my question is, when are we going to be able to access the membership portal?
Yeah, someone else just asked that question, everybody. The membership service team will start creating login credentials. So you should be expecting to get your login credentials within approximately a week. Jocelyn, your question is? Jocelyn.
Yes, sorry. So I'm actually an incoming youth advisor. We're in the transition place right now. Would I be able to get access to the membership portal?
So when will you take the position?
That's a great question. I guess we're still trying to figure that out. Miss Liz Morris is actually, I guess, training me to transition.
Okay. Is that the current youth? You say youth council, right?
Yes, ma'am. Okay,
so if you all are in transition, you can send an email to membership services. So when that person is ready to like give up their access, they can send an email, have you copied in and send it to membership services and say that you all are ready to transition over to you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Dr. DeFranza.
Hi there, thanks for taking my question. We have a unique situation where our secretary has suddenly stepped down and we do not yet have a volunteer. So I'm here as president of our branch, but I have never actually had member portal training. I've been president for this year, elected in January. And you said there's a different training for presidents. So I'm wondering what the solution is if you do not have a secretary, and we certainly have activity with membership, but I'm not sure how we manage the interim time. If there's two different kinds of training, but I essentially want to not have that part of it lapse.
Yeah, so you all are in a critical situation. You really need to see if you can get someone to step in as the interim secretary. Do you have an assistant secretary?
That person moved, which led to the actual secretary feeling overwhelmed. I have somebody I'm meeting with after this call that I'm hoping will step in as interim. But then they, of course, are not on this call for the training. So that's why I'm a little concerned about the gap in time and when they'll be able to get trained.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because, oh gosh. Don, how have you all helped people in the past in this type of situation?
Can you repeat the question?
So she is president and her secretary has stepped down. And so, of course, she doesn't have anybody standing in as interim, and she doesn't have an assistant secretary. So what have you all done in the past in these types of situations? Because she's working to try to get someone to step into that position.
And you don't have an assistant secretary as well?
No.
Okay. If you send me an email, we can talk offline about it. You can send an email to membership services, and we can talk offline about your next steps.
All right. Anitra, your question is?
Hello, I'm just curious if we have memberships that or people that are already in the system, but their membership is expired, and you may have covered it, and I apologize if you're repeating, but if they're expired, is there just a way to update it, or how does that work?
So are you saying that they paid their membership?
Yeah, say for instance, they're in the system, but maybe their membership expired a year ago, but they paid so they can be in good standing.
So yeah, you can create a batch with them in that batch, and it's going to renew their membership.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Cynthia, your question is?
Oh, hi. Yeah. So I am trying to become the secretary of our branch, which is great, except that there's not been an official election yet. We're in New Hampshire, and for whatever reason, that has not happened. So I don't think I can share rights to the portal until the other secretary is officially taken off of the books.
That is correct.
Is there some way that I can prompt that election to happen? I don't think that's membership services.
Ms. Barrows, we spoke briefly at convention. If you send me an email, I can get in touch with Quincy, and we can talk about your elections.
All right. Shalon Carrington.
Your email and Miss Dawn's email, please.
Membership services at NAACPNET.org. That's in the chat.
Okay, thank you.
All right. NAACP DeKalb. Screen name NAACP DeKalb. Well, it depends on how frequently you are receiving memberships. So if you're not receiving memberships, but once or twice a month, then I would wait till around that time to input the memberships. Okay. No, you maybe try, maybe, I mean, and this is something that you all have to try out for yourself. But I would, in that situation, if you're getting one or two every week, maybe try to submit them every other week. So at least there's not a long lapse in their membership, and it also gives the membership service team time to process it on their end once they receive all the payments. All right, Teddy, your question is,
Hi, yes. So our unit will be resubmitting our officer form this weekend, hopefully. And I know you said we just reach out to you at the email that you put in the chat when we do so that we can get access, correct?
that's for membership services. Yes, that's who provides um, the credentials to gain access, but you do not need to reach out to them because they have to have time to create the login credentials. So you should check and monitor your emails over this next week. So if you don't see something within a week, then reach out to membership services.
Okay, so if we don't see something within a week, reach out to membership services. Okay, cool. Also in regards to elections, our unit's going to be holding elections sometime soon. We have to fill out I mean, I know we have to use Election Buddy, but once you use Election Buddy, do we also have to fill out another membership form?
Another, I don't want to, why would you fill out another membership form?
Because like we're gonna have elections soon, because we have some vacancies and positions. So when we do that and we use Election Buddy, do we have to fill out another form?
Is this a youth election?
It is.
Can you send me an email to membership services and I can get a confirmation from Derek Lewis for you?
All right, cool. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for tonight. Again, Thursday night's training is for president and treasurer. So again, the link that you use to register for tonight's training is the link that they would use to register for Thursday night's training. All right, so have a good evening, and we will talk later.